Welcome to TheoTrade. Don Kaufman here. It's February 20th, 2026. Just about 20 minutes to go to the cash close here on this Friday afternoon. It was a shortened, if you will, holiday week of trade. Not exactly one of the more lovely weeks out here because this is what I would term an absolute volatility slop fest of a marketplace. Oh, this week, frustrated. Clearly, as traders, you get frustrated from time to time. We were right on the brink of a major move lower. And where are we right now? Right back inside the range, 69, 15-ish. Let me break it down a bit, of course, in this TheoTrade weekend update. Some frustration coming through inside of trade because right now you can throw anything you want at this marketplace. I mean, literally throw anything you want at the marketplace, but it all comes down to, and check this out, because I have to go to a 180-day 4-hour chart inside of the S&Ps. That's right, people. We're up to 180 days, 4 hours, and you got to take this. If it's in the futures contract, you got to adjust for contract changes, hit apply, hit okay. Allow me to show you, okay, the last few months of trade. And hey, look, when I talk about a slop fest of a marketplace, let's just kind of zoom in over here. That's exactly what you are getting. And I'm actually zeroing in on the mass amount of trade that has occurred, okay? And I'll actually pull back here a little bit. You got to go back literally to like the October, September, October timeframe to see where really this range started to kind of form. And we've just basically been pegged in it now for months. And it's frustrating because we kind of came down this week and we're like, that's it. There's just this maximum amount of gamma risk out there right now, huge amounts of gamma risk. And it just won't happen for us. And this week is kind of ironic, and I threw this up here because we're still, as I said, kind of up against the range. Look where the low is, 68.50. 68.50. That's been like, the favorite level to scream out here at TheoTrade is 68.50. And that is in the S&P futures. I want to be really clear about that. It's not the SPX. The SPX is still floating, okay? Again, different levels and so forth. But when we're actually pulling out levels, specifically these levels I'm referencing are the S&P futures. But anyway, I'm screaming 68.50 day in and day out. In fact, when you actually looked at this trading week, okay, was there a day this trading week where we didn't come down to it? This is just like a 5-day, 1 minute. And again, just over the last couple of trading sessions, pretty much every day has lows right around, look, okay, it's disturbing, right? 68.50. Oh, a little 68.50 in there. Okay. All right. You got me over here, but we're back a couple more days. Nevertheless, okay. As I said, kind of in my notes over here, 68.50 and counting. And again, you can, pretty much tell in my voice, the frustration lies in the fact that there's just this massive amount again of gamma risk. And the irony of this is, okay, you had a Supreme Court ruling on tariffs today. That didn't move us. Okay. It freaked the market out a little bit. I'm not going to deny that. Like, right in here is that release from the Supreme Court. Okay, look at that. As I was talking about a moment ago, and I kind of called this entire marketplace. Okay, it's a volatility slop fest. It's volatile out there, and it's vicious kind of volatility because for a big portion of this morning, I mean, the ATR, for those of you that have no idea what an ATR is, like the average true range, like 1 minute candles are throwing off 5, 10, 15 point moves inside of the S&Ps. That's the S&Ps. Okay. My, what a large candle you have. That's huge. Hey, 1 minute you're trading, okay, 85. The next moment you're actually trading what? 25. I mean, it's absolutely devastating. These are 40-point moves. That's a 40-point move inside of a minute, only to reverse a few minutes later. Okay. And that's why I'm kind of terming it a volatile slop fest of a marketplace, which it absolutely is. But we continue to kind of just, if you will, resonate in that range. And it's just kind of pinging back and forth in the range. And the other chart that really emphasizes some of the price action, like if you look at like, this is a 30-day um, hourly chart. This goes right back into the 30 days. So if you want to look at the last 30 days of trade, what do you got? You got absolutely nothing here. I mean, like literally, you've got absolutely nothing but a volatility slop fest of marketplace. And this week embodied that more than any. As you actually zoom in, what do we do this week? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, into Friday, and the answer is nothing. Now we are ending the week right now higher. I'm not going to deny that we're ending the week higher. Okay, but does it really matter in kind of trade like this? So this is and we're at the point right now of probably the tightest, longest lasting volatility box that I've actually seen. And what I mean by that is, you have this product, which is the S&Ps, and it's almost the $7,000 product, and it's channeling right now. Okay, outside of a couple of big, huge wicks in here, it's channeling inside of a 100-point range, which is absolutely amazing because in a $7,000 product, like look, it's a 70-point move is like a 1% move. All the movement that has occurred now in months of trade, okay, months is predominantly moving in a 100-point range. You're not even but like, a percent and a half of movement in markets. And yet, at the exact same time, and you have to understand the huge dichotomy in here, because at the exact same time, volatility in the marketplace. And I'll look at VIX. Sure, what the hell? I'll pull the VIX up. Frustrated anyway. And the VIX, okay, is actually it's up there. Like how many times have you ever seen the marketplace kind of channel tighter and tighter and tighter? The volatility, okay, is rising up in here. And that's what makes it so dangerous. Like frustrating is one thing. So it's okay to get frustrated, okay? But it's another to you really don't want to force trades in this. You don't want to force trades, and you should be probably grossly, if you will, underallocated because you can see the volatility coming up, and the volatility, okay, is warning shots. But as I was saying a moment ago, volatility is coming up. Well, because it was looking for the Supreme Court ruling. Well, it got that today. What happened? Nothing. Well, yeah, because there's geopolitical risk in war. Well, you know what? Great. That's been there for a while, but that's still kind of packed in. There's consumer sentiment today. There was a PCE number today. There's credit issues. There's private credit issues. If you guys missed that news announcement, kind of got swept under the rug because nobody knows what the hell that even is. But like, take a look at like Blue Owl, okay, who's barfing up portions of their portfolio right now and locking money out. Okay, if you guys know what redemptions are, that's when people want their money back. They axed all redemptions out there, but it doesn't matter. Neither tariffs, no PCE, no consumer sentiment. I feel like I'm talking about the post office over here right now. Rain or shine, it doesn't make a difference. Nothing is moving the marketplace right now, and to me, it's one of those incredibly like it's a time where we're going to be looking back at this. We're going to be looking back at the S&Ps. We're like, I remember that time we were channeling back and forth and then we moved like 10%. Okay. The only problem is coming out of these volatility boxes, as I was saying a moment ago, this is one of the most compressed periods that I've ever seen. But coming out of these volatility boxes, okay, is a coin flip. It's very much a binary type, aspect coming out of it. But at this point, I think that there's upside potential, but there continues to be this just wild downside convexity to it because as well as I do, you break, okay, maybe 6,800 and even touch down here into the 6,750, all hell's going to break loose. How do you know that? Okay. How do you know that? You only need to look at the volatility. Okay. The volatility is already warning you. It's this is smoke right now without fire. Okay. In fact, as I was saying, I was doing a little bit of a volatility checkup over here. You have VVIX still north of 110. Normally, when the VVIX is north of 110, you're like looking at the desk. You're like, can I get under this desk right now? Start rocking back and forth. You got a VVIX north of like 110. Markets are going to close here in like 15 minutes with a VVIX north of 110 or at 110. Okay, skew is still decent out there at 140. The VIX, okay, all right, it came back a little bit, but because we got through, okay, maybe some of the risk out there, but it's a problem. Okay, it's a real problem right now, and you kind of feel like nothing really changed this week. If you take a look at the financials, what happened in here? Slop fest, maybe a little bit of a bid back under them, but nothing really huge. If you look at the energy sector broke to the upside and faded. So there's your geopolitical risk. I got your geopolitical risk right here, big guy. In fact, oil did break out to the upside, but I found it so interesting because given the fact that if you're saying like war drums are beating in the background, where is it? Where is it? You would expect oil to explode back onto the scene. Oil has been really range bound the last couple of weeks. It popped through it. It broke the range, but this is nominal. It's really nominal. Like, what are they going to wait for conflict over there? Okay, whatever. Nothing is really reacting. It's almost like, okay, anything being thrown at it. I mean, this marketplace is filled with chocolate covered hand grenades, and it's not reacting. Okay, and that is in very large part. I've been mentioning that recently. Okay, news doesn't matter anymore. Nobody cares. Okay, nobody even knows what to trust. I mean, literally, they don't even know what to trust. And you saw news get thrown at it today, and it was like, whatever. PCE data came out, market didn't even move. GDP data came out. I forgot about it. I didn't even put GDP, nobody moved. Okay, GDP data today sucked. It was going to suck right off the bat. You knew it was going to suck because the government was shut down. But I'll tell you what. Okay, when it comes in like 1.4, 1.6, and it was supposed to be like 3%, which was the number that they were shooting for, swing and a miss. Okay, tried for the corner and missed. It was nowhere near it. Okay, and it's not impacting the marketplace, which, as I said, my opinion makes this far more dangerous. Okay, now with that, we've already done a little bit of volatility check. I wanted to give you like a year to date. I thought this was kind of fun. I actually pulled up a chart. Okay, a little bit ago. I'm not a big chart kind of guy, but I thought you guys would actually appreciate this chart. That's the S&P 500 on a year-to-date basis. When I say, okay, it's a volatile slop fest, I mean it. Okay, everything can be summed up basically in one thing. This is where the year started. This is where we're presently trading. What do we got? Absolutely nothing year to date. It's not about no movement. Okay, it's about the fact that we've just been channeling. And again, look how incredible this is. Every day of the S&P. This is the SPX, okay? And it all, okay, fits into an incredibly tight box. That's what I'm talking about with the volatility box. But it goes back even further than that, substantially further than that. There's been no rally, okay? That rally was back here in Never Never Land. Speaking of rally, okay, and one of the last things I wanted to mention on the update over here, okay, I know. Okay, we're so forward looking. We're going to be forward looking in a second. We got to come out of this volatility box. One of the things, though, somebody was asking me about tech. Microsoft right now looks like it's going to break lower. In fact, I have a trade on right now, assuming Microsoft is going to break lower. Apple has a bid back under it, okay, but still some damage inflicted from its recent high of 288. We move on to Google. Google, okay, they're still loving it, but this feels more like a rip your face off rally before there's going to be more sell side activity. So Google, okay, again, it's in the driver's seat. It's not that far from the recent highs, but this feels like short covering more than anything. When I talk about a rip your face off rally, it's short covering. Amazon, okay, also feels like a degree of a bid back under it, some short covering. Got a bid under it, but Amazon still on a year-to-date basis, it's getting absolutely, and again, you got to kind of do these checkups once in a while. Things still getting absolutely decimated. Tesla on a year-to-date basis, down 6%. Okay, it's so weird to look at Tesla. That's some serious slippage from the 500 level down to 411. Meta, what do we got? Absolute slop fest on a year-to-date basis, and of course, NVIDIA. Okay, completely and totally flat since what? Late July, early August out there. Last but not least, I'll even throw Broadcom on. Okay, which is actually starting to descend. This channel doesn't look all that perfect anymore. It looks like it's starting to descend a little bit, but we'll know more. Earnings obviously coming out, okay, and earnings coming out, of course, of NVIDIA. In fact, those earnings are coming as early as what? It's next week. Couldn't happen to a better product out there. There's going to be some volatility. But again, you still love in tech. Even with today's bid back onto the marketplace, you realize the S&Ps are up some 39 handles today. Again, the S&Ps are up some 39 handles. Who cares? Did you know that the expected move for today, not yesterday, not the whole week, for today, expected move was $60. We can't get out of our own way. Which brings me, okay, to kind of my last thought here on this weekend update. It's been so uplifting, right? On the weekend update, just taking a look at the SPX. So the SPX, okay, we're going to end the week higher. We are going to end the week higher. Weekends basically in about 7 minutes over here. We're going to end the week higher, mildly higher. Okay. If you do take a look again at NASDAQ, where's the NASDAQ going to end the week? Okay. in terms of expected move, mildly higher. Great, check. Got it. Okay, but we just came out of a week that had $144 expected move. Okay, $144. We got nowhere near the upper or lower edge of the expected move. We didn't do crap this week, as I said, but it was volatile. Like it was a vicious move after vicious move kind of day to get absolutely no. Like you can see, this is even what we term the doji star. Oh, the indecision candle. Anyway, so we didn't get very far this week with $144 expected move. The big question is, what does next week hold? Well, holy crap. So this week was a 4-day trading week with $144 expected move, but okay, I'm not going to diminish this. Next week, it's still big boy pants. You still at $133, $135 expected move. This is not set in stone yet, but expect it to come in right around $135. Okay. And I'll tell you what, coming into next week, you better get ready because now we're going to move. You don't get too many weeks where like you have absolutely nothing and we're all compressed. Okay. The theme next week is get ready to move because that's exactly what you should anticipate. And that movement, look, it's got to come out of tech. There's no leadership to this marketplace. There hasn't been. It's a 50-50 advanced decline line every freaking day. Rotate into this side of the boat. Let's go back over to this one. Even Walmart. Check this out. Okay. Even Walmart with some sell side activity is impacting the marketplace. Okay. And it is ironic that, the energy sector is selling back off with, again, I was told, yesterday it was war was coming. Today, they're like, don't worry about that. Okay. Nothing's going to move it, right? Except it is going to move and it's going to move big. And that's what you need to be, in store for. If there's one thing you want to do in this marketplace, and I'll give it to you straight as I possibly can, you don't take large shots. You want to take cheap shots on the outside, things like butterflies, out of the money spreads, out of the money call spreads if you're bullish, out of the money put spreads if you're bearish. Okay. Butterflies on edges of expected move. Don't. Okay. Put your neck out. Don't extend yourself into this marketplace. It is vicious. And I cannot stress that enough. Only you want to use spreads. You use spreads. That volatility is still absolutely there. I don't care what the VIX says. Okay. Short-term volatility is still absolutely a rocking out there. Thanks everybody for joining us here at TheoTrade. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.